Hey everybody, this is Chris Crazy House, and I'm here just doing some drawing. So, I mentioned in one of my other videos when I was doing my sister sketching that I enjoy drawing black females and adding a lot of sci-fi and fantasy elements to those drawings. So, I'm going to be doing some art like that today in this video, and I'm going to be showcasing how I draw it from beginning to end. And this character design, I'm going to just draw it traditionally in my sketchbook. I'm going to scan in that sketch, then go ahead and ink it over and color it in Adobe Animate. And just to kind of give you a little bit of backstory on this character, as you see me drawing it here, I came up with this character basically while I was at the oncologist last year. So this was before they fully figured out that I did not actually have cancer. I just had a benign tumor. But before they even figured that out, I had to go back and forth to the oncologist and get all these tests done. So obviously, anyone who's ever been through that process, or you've had a family member who's been through that process when they're trying to come up with a diagnosis for you, it's a lot of tests, it's a lot of waiting, sitting in rooms, being plugged into machines, or going through scans or whatever. So when I'll just be sitting there waiting to get one of my tests, I just have my sketchbook there, because that was the only thing that kind of kept me from going completely insane and worrying myself about all the possibilities of what I might be dealing with, right? So this character came as a result of that. I think I was actually watching some drawing videos that Jim Lee was doing, and he drew a picture of Gambit and Rogue from the X-Men. And that kind of swirled some ideas in my head. I kind of like the way Gambit's face mask is, kind of how it comes down on the sides or whatever. So I wanted to kind of draw a character like that. And that's when I started just sketching this character right here, named Cherry Wine. She didn't have that name at first, but I just kind of came up with that. Basically because I was also listening to a lot of 80s music, because to me, listening to 80s music from my childhood is very soothing. That also keeps me from going insane. So I was listening to that type of music and, drawing and waiting for my tests and my checkups. And, that's when I came up with this character. So you can see she's going to have kind of like a leather jacket that is very reminiscent of the 80s with the big shoulders and big collar. But I still want to add some sci-fi elements, giving her a laser gun and a belt and everything like that, and just kind of, really thinking about classic comic books that you would see, like classic space comic books or classic, sci-fi that you would see from like the late 70s, early 80s. So that's kind of what I was going for with this, and kind of making like a sci-fi bounty hunter type female character. So that's what I'm going to be drawing here. You can see what I got here so far. I'm going to let the music play as we finish, and then I'll give you like a little bit of my own critique of my own work at the end. So sit back, relax, and watch me draw Cherry Wine here for you. Okay, so we are back towards the end here, and I feel like I've done this character some justice based on some of the images that I had in my sketchbook and finally doing a colorized version of it. I think it looks pretty good. Obviously, there's always room for improvement. I'm thinking, now that I'm looking at it, I might add maybe, I don't know, maybe some patches or something like that on her jacket, definitely on the back of her jacket. Like if I could do a full character turnaround, she might have some images on her back or patches on the side where her upper arms are. So those are some of the things I will probably add. I might define a little bit more what her laser gun is. I kind of just came up with this idea off the top of my head. there is no real rhyme or reason. That might seem weird to folks, but for me, sometimes I get really into that. Like as far as like designing the weapons for my characters, I like to think about how those weapons actually work and study real weapons that may be similar to kind of get an idea of how the weapon might work. Just, you know, because it adds a little bit more for the story element later on. Like if your character runs out of ammo or needs to recharge their weapon or something like that. You know what I mean? So always thinking about things like that when I design characters. So I might put a little bit more work into her gun and her gun belt and kind of think about maybe what type of weapon it actually is, right? Also, let me see. I like her jewelry. I gave her some heart type earrings, you know, just to kind of add on something, because I felt like she should have some sort of earrings there and not just the headgear. And I even kind of gave her some red glowing eyes or magenta glowing eyes like Gambit has in the X-Men comic books. And I added that energy source. You can see it in the gun and on her belt as well. So maybe she's infused with this energy somehow and it works through her gun and through her body somehow. I don't know. Once again, just thinking about this character off the top of my head, I just came up with it. It's something I've been just kind of dabbling with since I was in the hospital, and just wanted to color it for you guys to have some fun and do some character design on this channel. So if you have any critiques for me, feel free to give them in the comments section. I'm always open to critique and open to insights that, you know, maybe I missed but other artists might pick up on. But if you like it, let me know that as well in the comments section. Also, if you want this artwork as like a background for your phone, your mobile device, or maybe for your computer or your desktop or your laptop, you can go ahead and download that right now on my Patreon. So this art is available for you to download. I also think there's a coloring page if I'm not mistaken. So if you want to download this image from the Chris Crazy House Patreon and color it in your own way, you can do that as well. So all that is available at the Chris Crazy House Patreon, and I'll provide a link in the description box as well as in the comments section. So if you like my sister sketches and my artwork and my character designs that I do on this channel, make sure you go ahead and like this video. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel, so anytime I upload this type of content, you'll always be able to follow me and find it. And make sure you go ahead and share it with anyone that you think would enjoy this type of content. Also, I do reviews of classic comic books and just getting back into the nostalgia of my old school comic book collection. So if you're into stuff like that, you can also subscribe to this channel and watch those videos. I'm right in the middle of doing a review of the return of the Sinister Six. So this is a 6-part mini-series that was done back in 1990. I'm done with the first 3 parts, and the next 3 parts of my review will be up on this channel in the next few days. So keep an eye out for that, and make sure you go ahead and subscribe to this channel so you know when those videos will be released. Anyway, folks, I appreciate having you here, and I look forward to seeing you some more and showcasing more of my artwork here at the Chris Crazy House YouTube channel. Anyway, folks, thanks for joining me, and this is Chris Crazy House signing out. Peace.